Welcome to this short introduction workshop called Coming Home to Your Voice. My name is Marion Haak-Schulenburg. I'm in Germany, southern Germany, in Heidelberg right now. I'm part of the Sacred Female Rising Institute, and to begin with, I would like to just say thank you for the Caravan of Unity for hosting us, for having us on their program every day between 3 and 4. Today we had a bit of technical difficulties, so we're starting only now. Apologies for that. But we're happy to be here right now. I welcome all the sisters that are here and those of you who might be joining in on Facebook. I want to extend a big thank you to the founder of Sacred Female Rising Institute, Mira Michelle Jones, who has been instrumental in bringing this about. And my own voice work is very much influenced by the things I learned in her medicine woman training that I took part in 2018. So a little bit to my person, I'm a community musician. I studied music education with a focus on my voice. I went onto a journey that I would call a healing journey now. Back then it felt more like an existential threat. I got voice problems while working in Palestine and needed to find a way out. And this way out is going on until today, I would say, as I learned so much about voice and I learned how this instrument is such an instrument of expressing who we are, and also we express ourselves. So it has a double function. It goes both ways. We are using it to say the words that we want to say or make the sounds we want to make. And the way it sounds expresses something about who we are. So this is something that I want to zoom in with you today. It's a rather short introduction, so I put a disclaimer to the start. And the disclaimer is that, of course, in half an hour, I won't be able to give you things that will change everything around for you, but it will give you an insight of how things are connected and maybe what you can do in your everyday life to come home to your voice. So this title was chosen because I feel many times we're not home in our voice. We might feel like me right now, I feel a scratch in the voice. There's a bit of phlegm and I can emphasize it a little bit by going, by letting my air not go through. And when then I let my air go through, my voice gets a bit more resonant. And also, sometimes we are under a lot of pressure in our life, and this pressure impacts our whole body tone, and then it impacts how we sound. I personally have a lot of experience of not sounding the way I want to sound, because with my voice problems that I got, I was basically all the time in this position, having my voice not sound the way I knew it, and not the way I wanted it to sound. So all the empathy for all of us out there who are struggling with the way their voice sounds. It's quite something to do. And we're diving straight in. We're doing a little grounding exercise. It's maybe more like a posture exercise in the beginning, because the way we stand impacts so much how we sound. So if you're sitting, you might not be able to do it fully, but you can. If you're sitting, you want to take a straight, upright position on your chair so that your torso is free for breathing. If you're standing up like me, you want to feel 3 points in your feet. This is this point, and this point. So you focus on these 3 points on your foot, and then you do it on both feet. So that makes us a bit busy for a moment. And we put equal weight on both feet. So we could say we find our feet, we feel our feet, we level out the weight of our body. And maybe just doing that gives us a whole different awareness of our body right now. So when we have found these 3 points and we kind of imagine that roots are going into the ground from right there, it gives us a lot of stability. And we now move up the skeleton. So we imagine the bones that are resting on the ankles. They're actually not resting there, but we can imagine they do. And they pass on the gravity and the weight of our body down into our feet, who are so wonderfully connected to the ground now. So these bones are resting on the ankles, and then you can feel your knees, and your knees are right on top. They are not too much forward, they are not completely locked, but they are just fluid. They can move. You can try if they are movable. And you can feel the connection between your ankles and your knees. And we move up the skeleton, and we have our big leg bones, thigh bones, coming from our hips, more or less. They're all connected into the hips, and they go down to the knees. And you can feel now that your legs are supported through your bones. It's actually the bones who carry the weight. It's the bones who are passing through gravity. And your hips are wonderful, embracing your whole torso, keeping your lower organs in a good place. And if you want to, for a moment, leave the skeleton idea, you might want to become aware of your, of what's inside of those hips and your pelvic area, which is the pelvic floor. So this pelvic floor keeps our organs up, if that's its function. So we just realize this lower abdomen space, which is beautifully nestled in the hip space. And the hip in the back, if you move towards your back now, you can feel your backbone and your coccyx, I'm a bit unsure about the word here in English. So is where the end of your spine rests on the hip bone and moves up, and then we have all these little parts of the spine that build up on top of each other to make the spine flexible. And the structure, the curvy structure, gives it its perfect stability. And we're moving up, and on the upper end we have those ribs extending from our spine to the front, embracing our torso, protecting our lungs, protecting our heart, strong and flexible at the same time. So flexible that every breath can move our rib cage. We can try that for a moment. You just put your hands on your ribs and open your jaws and allow the breath to flow in and out. It might not be a lot of breath. And then you can feel your ribs moving, maybe ever so small, maybe a little bit more as you direct your breath, but it's movable. It's quite magic. And then we go back to our spine, and it moves up towards our neck area. And there is the next curve. And that's amazing what happens now. That's one of the first real aha moments for me. Somebody's calling me right now. And I don't know where. There. Right. I'm very sorry about this. This happened because of all this technical problems. So I had somebody call me right now. Apologies for that. So we're back here in our neck area. And the interesting thing is that the spine actually doesn't continue on the back of our skull, which is how it feels like, but it moves into the center of our brain, of our head. So we go into a different visualization, and that is that you feel your ears. Again, she's trying. I put out the. I'm going through Wi-Fi with my phone, so I cannot put off my phone. Just as an explanation, let's try again to find our ears. Our ears, mine are really well covered with my headphones. you find your ears more feeling them than touching them, or after having touched them, feeling them. And you make a line in your head from one to the other. So there's a line crossing inside your head, an imaginary line. And then you make another line which comes from your nose through your head to the back of your spine, where the spine actually enters the head. Try to find that line. It's as if you had two noses, one in the front and one in the back. It's a very cool image to have. Gives you a bit of air for the back of your head. Okay, so you have those two lines and you want to go back and forth between them. And when you find the crossing point between those two lines, then imagine that this is where the spine, the head is resting on the spine. That crossing point. And it's fascinating to feel that. If you're standing, you will feel it more, I think. But if you're sitting, you can also feel it. If you're sitting on your sitting bones, then you will feel all of a sudden that your head becomes much more resting. It becomes much more relaxed because it doesn't have to support or the front of your face, because suddenly the spine is in the middle. So you can imagine that this is going here. Like this is our skull idea. And normally we think it's going like this, but in reality it's going like this. So if you have that feeling of those two lines, those imaginary lines, and you feel that all of a sudden your head is centered, then the rest of the body can relax into that, and your head can relax. And for us, for voice, what's important is our jaws can relax. Because many times what we instinctively kind of do is that we keep our head up by keeping our jaws up and tight. So try with that feeling of your head that is centered on your spine to let go of your jaw. And it might not feel outstandingly, amazingly new, but maybe it does. Sometimes the little things are the real important ones. So this relief that comes from not having to support your head, because it is already supported by your spine, might give you a relief that you can feel in all of your body. And you want to give a sigh of relief. Even if you don't feel that relief in your body right now, you can create a sigh of relief, because we all know how to have a sigh of relief. We just do it. So we do it together. And doing that, you can connect back to your feet and your skeleton, and you feel how upright you are right now in this moment. And you feel the freedom in your neck. Also, the neck has been freed of this load of having to carry it all, because it's rather central and all the flesh and the muscles is around it. It's amazing. So you're free now with your neck. And you want to try that out. And I invite you to use very small movements. We tend to do big ones because we want to kind of see if our muscles will allow that and if there are tensions. But for right now, go for the little ones. Go for just that. Very soft, very gentle. Make a little circle with your nose. The imaginary pen that comes from your nose, and you would make a little circle. Both ways. Up and down. See how flexible your neck has become, how fluid. And that's a real starting point for being able to relax your voice, because our voice muscles are all in here, in our neck area. And the front, here's the larynx. And many times if you go back to that, having to keep your head up, having to hold yourself from your muscles, you can feel the muscle tension impacting the freedom of movement in your neck and throat. And it's wonderful if you're able to let go. The head is supported already. I don't have to support it. It's just amazing to me, actually, every time I do it. In that case, if my head is supported, I can let go of my jaw so much more easily. And you might want to open your lips a little bit to allow the weight of your jaw to take a grab of your jaw, to let gravity work on your jaw. And you feel your tongue that is lying in your mouth, and your tongue gets heavy too. And I find the idea that maybe my teeth, especially the teeth in the back here, they're getting a bit more heavy now. Imagine they get really heavy. And now something spectacular will happen, spectacular for me, which is you start getting aware of your lower abdomen while letting go of your jaw. So you start to feel that there is this inner connection between your pelvic floor, your pelvis, this round thing on just nestling in that we visited just before, and this round form of our jaw. So those two forms, they are parallel and they can feel each other. So maybe you feel that this did something to your breathing somehow. I don't know how your breathing was before. I don't even know how my breathing was before. But what I do know is that when I do that, I relax my jaw, I relax my tongue, and I allow my belly to be soft. And then the breath can come in and out without me doing anything for it. And in order to have my voice be coming out freely, I need my breath to come out freely, without pushing out, without needing it to go somewhere, but more with a sense of allowing. And we might get another sigh in ourselves, and I encourage you, be loud where you are. You are muted anyway, so just allow the sighs or the noises that want to come out. They might not sound as beautiful as a singer's expression, but that's not the point. The point is to experience the relief of standing upright, not having to support our head. I do this. You can feel the air above your head, and inside of this, you're safe to let go of your jaw. You're safe to let go of your belly, and out of this comes relief. And then you want to wait until your breath wants to flow back into your body. You give it another sigh. Wow. And I encourage you again to try it, because there's nothing like own experience in this. And if you feel like your belly is not willing to be soft, then accept it, be friendly with it, and go back to your jaw. And maybe you feel that if you let go of your jaw, then your belly can let go. And if you cannot let go of your jaw, you might go to your belly, and you might just stroke it or massage it for a moment to get it more awake, and let it know that it's lovely, beautiful, and has your permission to be soft. And you just express that. Permission to be soft. Permission to be present. Permission not to look smart. There is an issue with letting go of your jaw, as it is with letting go of your belly. They're two different topics, but they are related. So with a jaw, we feel if we let go of our jaw, we might look a little bit stupid. And it would be true if we didn't have eyes. If I don't activate my eyes, then it might look like this. And you can see my eyes are a bit empty right now. If I do it with my eyes activated and interested in who's there, out there, I see some sisters, I imagine some people watching this right now. So I get engaged with my eyes. I look into this camera and then I let go of my jaw. It's not a problem, actually. We can do it. And I can allow the breath to flow. And the thing with the belly, of course, we know women have been trained to think that not visible belly is what we should have. So something I think many of us are struggling with. And I encourage all of us to dare to just have our bellies. They're beautiful. And I say this as much to myself as to anyone who's there. So now we have some very, very basic access. We have something about posture. We have grounding through our feet. We have our skeleton and the support we have by the spine being in the center of the head. We can let go of our jaws now. And I encourage you to do that a lot. When you're going to the loo and you let go of the water, you let go of your jaw. It's fantastic to do that. And you just become a little bit more aware of the freedom that you give to your body. And now I invite you to sense into your larynx area with this open jaw. And you invite the muscles that are surrounding here to release some of the tension that they hold. And you give it a little bit of sound when you breathe out. Ha. Ha, 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 ha. You might want to close your mouth, you can do that, but keep your jaws open. And you might want to try this little sound gesture that you give when you're listening to somebody who is just telling you something and you're doing and you just lengthen that time a little bit. And you try to find that voice. And my own voice right now is under a bit of tension. As I said, I had 25 minutes trying to get in here. And that does something with us. If we're expecting to do something, then we're not doing it, and don't know what to do. It will, in fact, impact how it feels like. And apart from that momentary thing, I'm struggling with a bit of phlegm and a bit of voice that is not going where I feel it should be going, but I practice being nice and loving with my voice, knowing that it knows better than me, actually. So we can practice being accepting, like a friend who loves us. So we love our voice, so we accept when it's not doing what we want it to do for the moment, and can have its own time to finding back its place. It's part of coming home, is being at peace with what is. It's quite an exercise. I can attest to that. So let's take that moment of letting go the tensions here, allowing the belly to be full, allowing the jaw to drop, the tongue heavy, and feel into your body system how something gets the permission to be more free than before. And we go again into the yeah. You can just join me in that. So that pitch that you have when you give that is pretty much the pitch that your voice likes to hang out at. So for many of us, it's a little bit lower than our speaking voice takes. And we can imagine that wanting to say the right things in the right moments. There is a bit of basic tension that probably hardly ever goes. But we have a real access, we have a real key with this jaw, tongue, belly triad that comes on a grounded basic condition. Give it a little bit of more sound expression. And you want to move very little bit your head to keep your flexibility in the neck, even though you're doing a bit more sound. We tend to get tense in the back as soon as there's somebody who wants us from us. We're doing this and all the freedom is gone. So we stay flexible. We stay in loving freedom. You just use your tongue for the ya. Don't use your jaw because that's open already. You can see, if you want to see it, you can see my tongue doing the movement. It's not good light. I do it from this profile. So the tip of my tongue is in the lower teeth. And the tongue's moving. And I invite you to try it. Who has never done it might find it really irritating because we're used to doing ya. And the whole system works to get a ya out. Reality is we don't need that. Aha. And if your jaw wants to move, then you can gently just hold it for a moment to realize if it wants to move and to just suggest, don't move, it's okay. The tongue can do it. Yeah. And you might find your access into that subtle movement of the tongue. It's fantastic. Yeah. And you can do it even with an O. Yeah. And I encourage you to open your jaw ever a little bit more because we think we have it open already. And I can show you how that looks like. If we think we have it open, it looks like this. Yeah. So nothing really happened. You want to open your jaw from this part. So you give it more letting go from here, from your ear down. And then you have like 1.5 finger width. And if you are able to do that, 1.5 finger width, then you can try that again and it will come out differently, I'm sure. Yeah. Hey. Hello. Yeah. And why that is important, I will just very quickly show you. The host has disabled screen sharing for me. Host, can you possibly enable screen sharing in my last 5 minutes? I would love to show you how that looks inside. I have a little film where you can see the tongue moving in the jaw and you can see what it does in terms of space for your resonance. I'm the host now, I can do it. Cool. Thank you, Annika. Where is it? Where is it? Down here. Okay. No, that's not it. Oh, I opened that before. There it is. But you cannot see it. Can you see it? Can you see something else than me? No. Good. Somehow makes sense that this is a bit difficult. Let me try again. There we go. Okay. So what you see here is the tongue And you see here is the larynx. There's the lips up here. And this is the, don't know the English word, you know what it is. And now we will see the tongue moving while it is articulating. So have a look. So this is the movement of the tongue inside of the head, the mouth. And this area here is the tightest place in terms of space. So this place here is right, if you can see me as well, it's right here inside. The jaw muscles come up here. Here's the ear. You can see my mouse circling around. And this is the area right underneath is where the voice gets produced in the larynx. So the sound starts here, and then it has to travel upwards around the corner and makes its way out. And if we want that to be resonant and without much force, but beautiful, then we need to give space right in this area. So this is why when you have a looser jaw than normal, you will give more space to this place. I hope this has kind of illuminated what I wanted to say. So it's really important that we don't think jaw loose means opening mouth, because then you use muscles that will again impact the freedom of your voice. But you let go from here, and then you can articulate, and you probably can hear it even in my voice. If I do that, my voice becomes a tick more resonant, a little bit more free, possibly. And the breath can flow in and out. So lots of benefit for you if you, in your everyday life, you focus on those parts, the jaw and your belly, as mutually dependent systems that enable your breath to flow, and the space that you give in the back here, so your voice can make that curve. We're running towards the end now of this workshop that has been pretty cool and short. Lots of unexpected things happening. I thank you all who were there. I thank also my teachers again. That's Mira Michelle for once, but also my voice teachers, which taught me so much. And one of them I want to name, it's Annette Göres in Berlin. And I wish you a lot of fun trying out your voice, loosening your jaws while you're peeing, and experiencing your voice in a loving way to come home to its home place. All the best to you. Goodbye now.